Overwatch's Season 10 has been a very meta-shifting time. We've seen the rise of Brigitte-dependent comps, Hanzo's new Stormbow, and a ton of hero balancing that has really shaken up all aspects of the game. A lot of players are having trouble adapting to this new era of Overwatch, so today I'm going to teach you guys the top 5 ways to rank up fast, Season 10 edition. My name is Nathan, and this is Blizzard Guides. I'm going to give you guys 5 tips ranging from effective comps to good team comps. All of this will be oriented to help you climb the ladder fastest, as this new season has been rather shaky as of lately. So without further ado, let's get right into this list. At number 5, I'm going to touch on some of the stronger heroes of this meta so that you have an idea of what you should be playing. In the DPS category, you want to be playing very high burst heroes. Heroes like Junkrat, Pharah, Hanzo, McCree, and Widowmaker. All of these heroes have abilities that do their damage all in one go, rather than something like Soldier or Tracer, whose damage is spread across multiple bullets. The reason being, Brigitte. Brigitte can absolutely wreck you with the insane amount of armor that she provides, so you really have to burst through it fast. In the tank category, you definitely want to have a Zarya if you have a Hanzo on your team, and also I've seen a lot of Reinhardt in my Masters and GM games, so that might be a viable option in all other SRs. Basically, you'll be running a lot of Rein, Zarya, Brigitte, and Hanzo with some other support or DPS. Reinhardt's really good for propping up the Brigitte on your team, but he can be hard countered by Brigitte, so that's a bit of a riskier pick. And in the support category, Mercy and Brigitte. Brigitte is so broken right now, her armor output is just through the roof, effectively countering the entirety of dive heroes. And it's not that Brigitte's abilities are really all that broken, it's just the fact that Brigitte really doesn't require that much skill to play, and the comps enabled by her don't really require that much skill to play either. So there's really no incentive to run more difficult or meticulous comps, as you really not do as well as the Brigitte comp. But anyway, I digress. Mercy is also another really good pick just because she can also res and boost the damage of your frontline tanks, which is something that an enemy Brigitte will struggle with. At number 4, we're going to be talking about improving mechanics. This one is by far seriously one of the most important things that you can do to climb, so really listen up. A recent trend that I've seen popping up lately is that the game of Overwatch is not mechanically demanding and that other games are just more difficult, which is actually true for the upper levels of the game, and I mean grandmasters, top 500, and pro play. Overwatch by far does not require as much mechanical skill at those tiers as compared to other competitive games, but in the lower ranks, mechanical skill is really the only thing that will dictate a win or a loss. If you can out-mechanic an enemy and win every single 1v1 you have in the game, you'll climb in no time. So personally, I prefer to hop into FFA a lot and practice only one hero and just drill that hero over and over again. I've taught myself quite a few heroes like that because in FFA, you're putting yourself in the worst possible situation with no sort of get out of jail free card like a support or a tank would provide, so you can really learn to get better through that. I also recommend that you find a sensitivity that works for you if you haven't already. I've got a video on that you should definitely check out if you've got the time. But other than that, you should really learn the animations of the game and the timing of your hero, and you'll be able to win games faster. Mechanics are king in basically any elo less than high masters, and after that it just becomes team comp versus team comp. Improve your mechanics to the best that they can be and you'll be winning games in no time. At number 3, we've got cutting back on losing streaks. If you're really looking to grind the ladder and climb up really fast, a really important thing to always be aware of is tilt and losing streaks. There really are so many factors when it comes to tilting. If you're really not feeling like you're doing too well, or you've got a lot going on outside of the game, sometimes it's just best to take a break from comp and chill in custom games or the arcade and come back to comp when you're feeling a bit better. If you go into a game tilted, you're going to lose despite it feeling like you're going to do well. A lot of players that I've seen that are very tilted like to try and take 1v6 scenarios, and they end up getting 3 kills because they use their ult, but they're never really going to win that fight, and they end up wasting their ult and they blame their team for the loss, when in reality they could have just saved their ult and played with their team. So when you're tilted, you might still do mechanically well and pick up kills, but that does not mean that you're going to be making the right decisions. Learn to manage the tilt and figure out how many games you go until you tilt and work around that. Identifying the things that make you tilt is really important, and then mitigating them is going to help a lot. It's just one of those things that is different for everyone, but it'll help you to have a lot more fun playing the game and getting good at matches. At number 2, we've got dodge queuing and queuing at optimal hours. This is one that I don't see people ever talking about, and it's actually had the biggest impact on my ladder climbing abilities. Basically, if you're going to be queuing for the game of Overwatch, don't actually queue at the peak hours, especially around 3 to 6 p.m. in your local time. The reason being that this is the time that people are getting back from school and work. If you're catching the people that are returning at that time, you're more likely to get players that are already tilted or somebody that hasn't really played the game in a while. So I actually prefer to queue from 8 p.m. p.m. to 11 p.m. where it seems that I've been personally getting the best matches. Also, if possible, around lunchtime is really good. And if you're playing on the weekends, you're just kind of out of luck. The really only good matches that I've ever seen are from 3 to 4 a.m., which really obviously isn't a time that you probably want to be queuing in the first place. This tip made it onto the list because it's something that I've been noticing really impacting the quality of my games lately, so I wanted to impart that knowledge onto you guys. And if you can't queue outside of those peak hours, just remember that a lot of the people in your games might not really be all that good, and there will probably be some people that are really tilted, so the best thing that you can do is just leave voice comms and try and play something that you're really good at. And just go with the flow, accept some of the losses as well, because sometimes you're just going to lose because of your teammates. And lastly, at number 1, we've got playing the Brigitte meta. I know the last 2 tips really weren't about gameplay specifically, but this one is going to be about the gameplay, and it is by far the most important. Brigitte is just super broken, so play around that meta. If your team has a Brigitte, running triple supports is your best bet. And I don't mean playing support and then going damage dealing. I see a lot of people that think triple support means that the support plays as a DPS. No, I literally mean play 3 supports in the support slot, keep your tanks alive and never dying, and you'll easily win games. Be willing to flex and try these comps out, because at first it seems super scary only running a Hanzo on DPS and running 3 supports, but eventually you'll find out that it's actually just really powerful and these comps are ridiculously good. And if your team isn't wanting to do triple support, just try and play around high bursts of damage and heroes that work at range. Brigitte's greatest enemy is her lack of range, so always play around that as best as you can. But really, just be very comfortable playing comps that you might not be used to. It really doesn't matter what you run at this point, just because Brigitte kind of enables anything that isn't dive, so maybe just don't run dive and just play whatever you want. I don't know, I'm just kidding about that, but really seriously, you don't need structure like 222 as much as you used to, so you can play around different things, or you can be more willing to run triple support, triple tank, or triple DPS. Anything kind of goes at this point. Anyway, I hope this guide helped you guys out. Let me know in the comments down below what kind of guides you'd like to see on this channel next, and if you have any questions about the game in general, feel free to comment down below and I'll try my best to respond to any serious questions. Don't forget to leave a like on this video, as it really helps us know that you guys are enjoying this content, and don't forget to subscribe, as we've got a lot of epic moments videos so that you can see the best plays from around the globe, and we've got tips and tricks videos so that you can be the best Overwatch player that you can be. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a nice day. My name is Nathan, and this was Blizzard Guides.